the best guys. That's why I wanted this Khamzat fight so badly. So yes, absolutely, I've been getting a lot more respect from more people because I've proven that, say what you will, I'm winning, and my style has proven to be effective. Not for everyone. Yes, controversial. Yes, it is awkward, but that's on purpose, and that's why I am the champion of the world. So yeah, I am the underdog, and but when it comes to respect, I only care about the respect of a very small group of people. It's not, it is not really awkward. It's just different. But I mean, we as humans are very suspect of new things. We don't like change that much. So I mean, and once again, I said it a couple of years ago. People were only critiquing my style, and they always have been. But while they are critiquing, they should be taking notes because they are going to fall behind, and then they're going to play catch up. And that's exactly what happened. And now I can only worry about the things I can control. So, if I'm going to do a fight camp where I'm constantly worried, is this guy going to show up? Once you get to that dark place, am I going to do the extra session? Am I going to wake up earlier? And am I going to put myself through absolute hell? When you start doubting if your opponent's going to show up, you're going to start, backing off. I don't operate like that.
Right before the storm of UFC 319, Dricus Du Plessis sat down with Ariel Helwani in Chicago. From throwing baseballs to breaking expectations, Dricus kept things real. He wasn't just there to promote a fight. He opened up about pressure, mindset, and the noise around Khamzat Chimaev, all while staying laser focused on what really matters, getting the job done.
When you get into fights, because of situations, the fighter that I know I can be, how I can strike, it's difficult to do it in a fight. But as my career goes, the Dricus that made his debut versus Dricus that fought the last time, it's two very different people, and I keep evolving and getting better, and that's why I feel I'm chasing the perfect round.
From the get-go, Ariel mentions the buzz around the fight, and Dricus finally leans into the hype. He knows he's still the underdog, but he's noticing more people starting to give him credit, especially for his endurance and ability to win late rounds. He talks about how people once doubted him after the first round, but now that's become one of his strongest areas.
If you looked into a crystal ball and you know the outcome of the fight, and it's a fight that was won in the championship rounds or via decision, DDP won this fight, as opposed to maybe a year ago where it's like, oh, Khamzat's just going to steamroll through whomever is the champion. Are you starting to feel that as well? Are you starting to feel like people are finally giving you that respect?
Well, let me tell you this. I mean, you just spoke about 2 years ago. They said you would steamroll me. That just shows you how MMA works. It's one day you're the hero, one day you're the zero. That's how it is. People, 2 years ago, and before the nose surgery and all that whole thing happened, do you think anybody would have ever said after the first round, Dricus has a chance? No, it was literally the opposite. It was after round one, Dricus is done. That's what they said with Strickland. First time, that's what they said with Whitaker. That's what they said. And now it's almost, I'm getting praise for my championship round performances.
He admits that public opinion shifts quickly in MMA. The very things people used to criticize, his awkward style, slow starts, are now praised. He doesn't pretend his game is perfect, but he knows it works. Even if it looks different, it's part of a plan he and his coaches have developed over years.
So, I mean, there's two things you can take away from that people just change their opinions the whole time. And then, of course, it shows that I'm ever evolving because, there was a problem, we fixed that problem, and now that problem has become my strength. The weakness of after round one became my strength. And, a fight like this I've been getting so much respect. I don't care what people say in terms of Dricus is not a good champion. At the end of the day, I'm getting paid.
Yeah.
I've defended the belt twice. I'm going to do it now for a third time. Every fight I have is exciting. That is a fact. There is no boring fights. I've never had one, never going to have one. And then, of course, the resume, the people I have fought. I have fought, before about a month ago, I fought everybody in the top five.
Ariel brings up the idea of Dricus being awkward on purpose, and Dricus confirms it. His whole style is built around doing things differently, thinking outside the box. He says if you move like everyone else, you're easy to figure out. But if your movement is unpredictable, that creates problems.
What I want to fight the best guys. That's why I wanted this Khamzat fight so badly. So, yes, absolutely, I've been getting a lot more respect from more people because I've proven that, say what you will, I'm winning. And my style has proven to be effective. Not for everyone. Yes, controversial. Yes, it is awkward, but that's on purpose, and that's why I am the champion of the world. So, yeah, I am the underdog, but when it comes to respect, I only care about the respect of. I do things in a way that me and my coaches have been training for 12 years, because we look at fights and we think this is the way they do it. I think this is a better way to do it. Let's try it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's about doing something. If you just throw your strikes like everybody else, you're going to find a striker that's going to be able to figure that out. And they've seen it a million times in their gyms, in fights, and that is why it is not really awkward. It's just different.
He believes fighters who mocked his technique are now studying it. His goal is to evolve every fight. He talks about chasing that perfect performance, knowing it might be impossible, but still worth the pursuit. That's what keeps him grinding and improving, constantly looking for that next level.
I'm not fighting at perfect. I'm fighting at a 6 out of 10 here. I'm still far away from giving the performance that I know I can. I'm far away of being the striker that I know I can be, the wrestler and the grappler.
Then comes the subject of his now infamous tweets. Dricus doesn't back down from them. He had one ready before the fight even started because he expected a certain fighter to lose. He explains he only goes after people who take shots at him first. He has no issue with fighters who are respectful, but if someone comes at him, he fires back.
Let me tell you this. It seems like I'm just going for these guys. I have never been disrespectful to anybody that's been respectful to me. Bilal had a lot to say about me, about the middleweight division. Couldn't even keep the belt in his hand. Couldn't even defend it once. Took a whole year to defend the belt. Did a terrible job at that. And he had so much to say. So that's why he got what he, that's why I gave him shit. And obviously with Sarah, he took shit. He said he would like to see me lose, and he doesn't like to see anything. So that's why I went after him. And that's it. I'll respect you, you respect me. If you want it, if you want the smoke, I'll give it.
He wraps that part by saying he doesn't fake beef and doesn't pretend to like people he doesn't. Even if he doesn't get along with someone, he respects anyone who steps into the cage. That doesn't mean he has to like them outside of it, and that includes Khamzat, whose behavior he's not too fond of. Dricus criticizes Khamzat's past issues with missing weight and not seeming to care. He's not impressed with fighters who brush off those kinds of responsibilities. To him, that's part of the job, being disciplined, respecting the rules, and showing up like a professional.
If it's all respect, then it is. Sometimes it can be just a fight. I don't do fake beef, never have, never will. After a fight, I will respect any person, even if I don't like them. Even if I despise you as a person, once you've shared that octagon with me, I have to respect you because I know what it takes to get in there. So I have respect for each and every single fighter. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Every single guy that steps in there deserves respect. But some people I just don't like as a person, and that's totally fine. Because some people don't like me as a person. That is completely fine.
Does Khamzat fall into that category?
I don't know Khamzat on a personal level. But there are things I've seen, not crazy about it. But
like what?
You never know. The whole attitude around it, missing weight and just rubbing it off and, just going about it as if there was nothing wrong. Says, I don't care about weight. Of course you have to care about weight. If I don't care about weight, I'm going to fight at heavyweight.
Still, when Ariel flat out asks if Khamzat is overrated, Dricus shakes his head. He thinks Khamzat deserves the hype. The Whitaker fight reminded everyone just how dangerous he can be, and even Dricus respects that. He's not walking into this fight thinking it'll be easy, but he's walking in ready.
Is he overrated in your opinion?
No. I think he's
worthy of all the praise. He's worthy of all the praise and everything that he receives.
Absolutely. I think Khamzat is a special fighter.
As far as the...
Building off Dricus' own defense of his awkward on purpose approach, Khamzat Chimaev has a very different way of sizing it up. When asked about Du Plessis' style, Khamzat didn't dismiss him outright, but he also didn't see it as anything mystical.
It's legal.
To him, the talk about it being a weird style is simply part of MMA. He recognizes that Dricus gets the job done and is a good fighter, but remains convinced he's the better one. For Khamzat, discussions about striking angles and unorthodox movement fade once the fight hits the mat. That's where he believes he can impose his will through ground and pound or submissions, depending on the moment. He's eager to test Dricus in grappling heavy exchanges and see how he responds to the relentless pressure of his wrestling and top control. While he respects the results Dricus has achieved, Khamzat is confident that in the kind of fight he plans to bring, unpredictability alone won't be enough.
Oh, everyone says it's a weird style, weird. That's MMA style, you know? So I don't think it's some crazy weird, but he does his job, he does good, and he's a good fighter, but I'm better.
In a way, does it really matter how he fights? Because if you come out there, so far no one's been able to stop that initial takedown, and you can just do what you want to do.
Bro, when somebody laying down on the mats, it's how weird you are. You're on the ground, bro. And ground and pound, submissions, bro, they don't care about your style. So we'll see. We'll be happy to see him in the cage, middle, or fight him, striking, wrestling, grappling, and I want to know how he can handle it.
Coming off Khamzat's take on Du Plessis' style, Chael Sonnen shifts the focus toward the magnitude of the matchup and what it could mean for the middleweight division.
Brendan Schaub did a piece, and he likes Dricus, and he likes Dricus to the point that he thinks he could be a 3-division champion. And no, before you're wondering if he's got to cut to 170, no. Brendan laid out the math. 185 where he's already king, go up to 205, grab the belt, slide up to heavyweight, beat those guys. I don't hate the idea. I'm grateful that Brendan brought it to us. I'm grateful that Brendan brought this to our attention, because I too find that Dricus in his next fight with Chimaev is not fighting.
He brings up Brendan Schaub's idea that Du Plessis might be capable of becoming a 3-division champion. While that sounds ambitious, Sonnen doesn't dismiss it outright. The size factor grabs his attention, especially the possibility that Dricus is already cutting significantly to make 185. It's something Chael hadn't thought about before, but now he's curious about what Dricus actually walks around at and how that size might work at light heavyweight or even heavyweight.
The number one thing that Brendan did for me in this article is bringing it to my attention that Dricus is big. I've seen the sufferings of Charles Oliveira. I've been there for the sufferings of Max Holloway. At a distance, I've watched the torture that Merab has to go through. It's well documented how hard that scale was for Khabib and his disciples.
Sonnen also takes time to highlight just how competitive the current middleweight division is, calling it the most stacked it has ever been. If Dricus beats Khamzat, Sonnen argues it shouldn't just mean another successful title defense. There should be a bigger reward that reflects the danger and difficulty of facing someone like Chimaev.
For nothing. I think there is something there. The pound-for-pound list. 145 and 155 are the deepest divisions in the UFC, historically speaking. So whoever is the champion of 45 or 55 will generally, one of those guys will be the pound-for-pound great. 185. And this was my division, guys. I knew this division inside and out. I fought the up-and-comers, everyone in the top 10. I really knew the division. But take it from me.
Drakkar Klose gives his own take on how the fight might play out, and his view is pretty straightforward. For him, the outcome comes down to how long the fight lasts. If it stretches past 2 rounds, he's leaning toward Du Plessis. Even with money on the line, he says he'd still back DDP. It's not just about power or skill. Klose points to the awkwardness of Dricus' style. It's unpredictable, the kind of approach that can throw even experienced fighters off because the timing and angles aren't what they expect.
Who do you got in that, Dre?
I think if it goes over 2 rounds, I got DDP, but
If someone's giving you 10K, what are you doing with it?
fuck, I'm going to go DDP.
I think DDP too, dude. I just
He's awkward, just when you're not, like, when people are used to, I think, like, even, like, pros and when we spar amateurs do shit completely different. and you get hit with shit like, hey, you're not supposed to go that way, and shit happens. And I kind of see that's how DDP is. It's like he's still kind of green, but
He
you know what I
brings
mean?
people to
He
hit.
compares it to sparring with amateurs, where things don't follow the usual patterns. That kind of awkwardness, in his eyes, can drag opponents into a fight they didn't prepare for, making them a step behind right from the start. Where close seems most certain is in his read on Khamzat's approach. He doesn't see any scenario where Chimaev comes out slow and cautious.
His
like
level,
where
yeah,
it's
like, oh
awkward.
shit, this is awkward, and then like you're already a step behind.
I hate fighting guys that are awkward. That don't throw the punches don't come down the pipe. It's awkward, man. That's for sure.
In DDP, he's got that big neck and those big traps. It's not going to be easy to get under that guy's chin. And the thing is, there's no way Khamzat's not coming out going fucking trying to take him out in first round. I just don't think that would be the first time Khamzat came out there, touched gloves, and made it a tactical, I'm going to be smart with my energy. I just don't think there's any way he's going to do that.
Yeah, he's fought like that his whole career. Like,
Yeah.
you're not gonna change. You can't change it up. You know what I mean?
And while some are showing love, not everyone's rolling out the welcome mat for Dricus. Bilal Muhammad made it clear he's not on Team DDP, taking a playful jab and making sure the message was loud and clear. Chicago isn't exactly going to be his fan club this week.
Also, heard Dricus in Chicago. Bro, this is my city. Big card next week. Huge main event. You need anything from Chicago, food, groceries, therapist, cage, gym, sauna. Make sure you don't hit me up. You're not welcome here. Chicago, you see him, you let him know. You don't like his kind. Go Khamzat.
Mike Perry isn't exactly on the Dricus loving train as well. His breakdown skips the usual talk about stats and styles. Instead, he looks at the roots of both fighters, their backgrounds, their toughness, and how that might come out once the cage door closes. Perry hints at the kind of grit Dricus brings, making a comparison that sticks in your head, especially when it comes to how he handles pressure and soaks up damage. He even brings up a moment from Khamzat's past, but questions whether that same approach would fly against someone built like Dricus. The way he puts it, this fight might not just be about skill, it could be about which man can endure more. And with Perry, sometimes what he leaves hanging in the air says more than the words themselves.
Some people are like, oh, Khamzat all day. Some people are like, DDP all day. You know,
I'm
Khamzat
actually
trains
leaning
in like
DDP.
Sweden and like California, and Dricus trains in the trenches of Africa. I think DDP is just this awkward boulder. He's just an iron boulder.
Yeah,
Khamzat has skills. He's gonna jump on the back. He's gonna pull some backpack.
Yeah, he's gonna like he tried on Rob, but I don't think you're gonna be able to, like you just said, dude. He is just like an iron boulder. Like he's gonna survive. It's gonna end up being like the Gilbert Burns and Khamzat fight.
With both fighters set in their ways, UFC 319 is shaping up to be a clash of pure belief. Dricus is banking on his unorthodox movement and relentless pace, while Khamzat is ready to drag the fight into deep waters with his wrestling and pressure. It's not just about styles, it's about pride, mindset, and proving whose approach holds up under the bright lights. Each man believes the other's game won't work when it matters most, and that's exactly what makes this fight so unpredictable. The Octagon will settle the debate soon enough. Let us know in the comments below who you think comes out on top.